And we're back with another PicoCTF challenge, this time file-run1. Category, reverse engineering. Questionable category, but anyway. Description. A program has been provided to you. What happens if you try to run it from the command line? Download the program here, and then we get hints. We're told we have to make it executable, and then we're told how to run it. So obviously this is aimed very much at beginners, and so I want to not only show you the flag, but I also want to explain what's happening here. So we have this file, and if we look using a ls, which stands for list, and then the other stuff is just fancy. It's all human readable, so meaning this size is given in kilobytes or megabytes. I can't even remember the rest. Anyway, this is just like a standard thing that people use a lot. You can see this file run, the time it was created, May 7th. The size is 17 kilobytes. It's owned by the user, and the group is also the user. So those are kind of two separate things. So imagine if you had a team, and your team was, let's say, I don't know, you are the Red Foxes at work, and you had 8 people who were Red Foxes. You're Mike, someone else is John. So in this case, the user who created the file might be John, but the group would be Red Foxes if you wanted everybody to be able to use it. And then you have the permissions here. And the permissions are what's really interesting and important. And we see we have a bunch of R's, which stand for read, and we have a single write, but we don't have any X's. And X stands for execute. So we are going to fix that by doing a chmod plus X to run. Now we're going to re-examine what we have, and we can see there was a change. Now we have X's, specifically 3 of them. And if we go to run this, we get the flag. So what just happened? There's a very nice breakdown here of what these permissions mean. So the first item is the file type. So it can be either a directory or a file. So here you see our directory that we're currently in, which is signified with dot, is a directory. This run file, it doesn't have, it just has a dash. Dash means it's not a directory, so it must be a file. Next up, we have 3 groups of 3 values. 3 values for the user, which in my example was like Mike or John or something like that. A user can be allowed to read, write, or execute. Then the group, the Red Foxes, they can be also allowed to read, write, or execute. And if you see a dash, that means that permission is not set. So for the group, write is missing. And then finally, for other, so meaning anybody who's not either the user who owns this file, in the group that owns the file, you can think of this as world is what they sometimes call it. And again, it's read, write, or execute. So when we do a chmod plus X, for all 3 of those groups, we add the execute. If we did a minus for all 3 of those groups, we would remove the execute. Let's do this one more time. You can now see we don't have any X's. All right, so that kind of explains what's going on there, and I want to give you a little more advanced example. So sometimes, rather than just plus X or minus X, you'll see weird numbering. And what's going on is they're doing a binary representation of these 3-digit numbers. 3 ones is a 7. That's, I can't really give an explanation of binary, other than you'll have to look it up if you don't know it. But what they're doing is for each group of 3, they're using the binary representation of what they want. So maybe I don't want the other red foxes to be able to do anything, but I want to be able to do everything to the file. I want to be able to execute, read, and write. So in that case, I would say chmod 700, so meaning I, the user, the first group of 3 will have all the permissions, and then the next 2 groups of 3 will have none of the permissions. And let's take a look. And we can see that's exactly what we got. So we got a very restrictive set of accesses where we keep something private and to ourselves. All right, so that explains everything except the last part. Why are we doing /run? Why not just run? And you can see, you get a hint here, run was not found. Why wasn't it found? Because there's a path that the terminal looks on. And it looks for all these, in all these different locations, it's going to look and see, is there an executable that matches run? And the first one it finds at this path, or this path, or this path, as it works through, it will use. So the important thing is the path that you're at right now probably isn't a part of this path. And as a result, it can't find it. So you need to specify exactly where to find this. You need to give it, this is a relative path to the run. You could also do an absolute path if you wanted to. But what you're doing is you're making it so it doesn't need to go through the process of resolving the name, because it resolves the name based off of the path. And if it has to search the path and it's not there, it won't find it. So either way, you're telling it, I want this exact executable to run. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful for newer people. If it was, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. Thanks. Bye.